Hello, everybody. My name is Necroxis. It is literally 8 a.m. I just woke up. I'm still in my pajamas. But I was on Twitter. You're brushing your teeth. You're getting ready in the morning. You're looking at the internet. What's going on? There's a Baine cinematic. So, this is a new cinematic that no one knew was coming. This happens at the end of the war campaign for each side. So, spoilers for each side. Here we go. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. This is after you rescue Baine from underneath Orgrimmar, where Sylvanas has imprisoned him and is slated to execute him. If you're with the Alliance, you go with Matthias Shaw and Jaina, and if you're with the Horde, you go with Thrall and Sarfang, and you save him. And if you're a Sylvanas loyalist, you get to pretend that your choice still matters. But afterwards, you get this cinematic. So I don't know what it is. I was just looking on Twitter and I saw this video. I played it for a few seconds before I realized I hadn't seen this yet. So I wanted to react to it with all of you. So here we go. And I don't know what's going to happen here. There is not an official video of this, so I'm watching it on Wowhead. That's why that stupid obnoxious watermark is in the corner. But yeah, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, now. This must be when Jaina teleports everyone away to freedom. You need to do some apologizing, Thrall. Jesus Christ. You left and the Horde again destroyed the Alliance capital.
Thank you. Baine would have died without your aid.
I couldn't let that happen.
Nor could I. I refused to fail him. Like I failed his father.
Oh, I thought he was going to say fails you.
I wish I could change it all.
That was good too, though.
Garrosh. Theramore. Sometimes it feels like I did everything wrong.
We all have blood on our hands.
And now, Sylvanas will come. Thunder Bluff will burn. Just like Teldrassil.
Once before, you and I stood side by side on the slopes of Mount Hyjal. That world tree did not fall, because the Horde and the Alliance worked together.
Horde. Alliance. We've come to this crossroad again and again, Jaina. It always falls apart. What's different this time?
We are.
Jaina's so
I
cool!
should go. Anduin will want to know that Baine is safe.
Tell your king he is not alone.
This is the Horde and the Alliance that I like and I want to come back. I mean, damn, maybe they are getting rid of factions in 9.0. That was a pretty ballsy... I don't know. Felt like a lot of foreshadowing, like, Alliance, Horde, what's the difference? Why should we keep trying to do this? Because we're different. Thrall has gone through trauma and has had kids and he's done all this shit. Jaina's gone through more trauma than probably anybody in the entire Warcraft franchise. Sarfang is a close second to Jaina in that regard, I would say. I don't know. It's not a competition. Everyone here has had trauma. Baine lost his father. Matthias Shaw, I guess, is the only one, but he's just kind of like a stealthy rogue man. But, I don't know. That kind of, to me, a lot felt like maybe we don't need the factions. And I don't think we really do anymore. I've always been of the opinion that the faction... I said this a little bit after Battle for Azeroth came out on Twitter, and people got real mad at me because it's Warcraft, war's in the name. But I personally have felt for almost every instance of it happening, outside of maybe 5.1 in Landfall and some parts of Mists of Pandaria, But I've always felt that the faction war was the worst part of World of Warcraft. I've always thought that it was the worst story beats. It was an easy way for them to just repeat the same story again and again and again and again. And I sure hope that this is them being like, we get it, we're not doing this anymore. Also, you had Thrall and Sarfang and Baine and Jaina and Matthias Shaw all being like, hey, we gotta work together now. How is Sylvanas not a villain? Everybody. Horde loyalists, Sylvanas loyalists. What more can the story do to tell you that she's a villain and she's gonna get dealt with at some point? Like, I don't know what Blizzard can more do to shine the spotlights to be like, everyone who's saying Sylvanas is still doing right things, hello? We have the badass old war chief, we have Sarfang, the badass iconic warrior of the Horde, we have Baine, all being like, Sylvanas is the fucking problem and we gotta deal with her, and the Alliance hates her, obviously, for what she's done in Teldrassil and others. I don't know how else the story can be like, hey everybody, she might like be the next villain. I have no idea if she's going to, and I mean combined with the last cinematic, the introduction to Nashatar, where Thanos like basically smirks as all the ships are falling into Nashatar while he's holding on to the dagger. There's even dialogue that I don't know if it made it into live, but was part of the 8.2 PTR, where Sylvanas tells Thanos, like, yo, this is my plan, and we're going to lose a lot of people when the trap is sprung. She doesn't say the trap is sprung, but she basically says, this is going to be a devastating mission for you, and it's going to be a good opportunity for you to weed out the loyalists. Like, she's boasting that she's about to lose basically the last of the Horde fleet and a bunch of Horde soldiers to go to Nashatar with the dagger, also with Lady Ashvane, having spoken with her and done some kind of deal that we didn't see behind the scenes. Like, whatever Sylvanas fans are left that hate watch these videos, how can you not argue at this point that she's the villain that we gotta kill at some, or depose, or make her flee, or do something? Because, holy shit, I mean, Thrall and Jaina are now comparing to having to bind together to stop her with when they had to stop the demonic apocalypse in Warcraft 3. Like, damn. So, I don't know, man. That was great. I like that a lot more than the last cinematic, because the last cinematic was good. I mean, it was fine. Like, don't get me wrong. It was great. Ajara is fantastic. Her snarkiness is, like, she was represented perfectly, but not a lot actually happened. But this one, it feels like not a lot actually happened, but I'm always the bigger fan of just characters interacting and having dialogue. Like, I've said it again and again and again. Final Fantasy XIV is a good example because their last patch just had a big cinematic like this. But there's value in characters just discussing politics. Like, it's so enthralling and interesting to me. And this is a good example of what I'm talking about. The post-Legion cinematics were also a good example of what I meant back then. I probably said that in those reactions too. But yeah, this was far... I'm not going to say it was like better quality-wise, but it was far more intriguing to me as a fan of just stories and RPGs. This is still an RPG, remember, everybody, so there should be a story for everyone going through Nashatar. We're not going to get into that, because I don't want the video to be 75% dislikes, but how much I'm not having fun in Nashatar right now. But anyway, this was great. So I feel like they're not even foreshadowing, but they're clearly laying the groundwork for the Horde and the Alliance working together to depose Sylvanas or do something against her. But maybe they're also foreshadowing the end of the factions. Like, I mean, I'm sure mechanically there will be a Horde and there will be an Alliance, because there has to be. But maybe there won't be... Like, I would be totally okay. I mean, the game is 15 years old. Let's just get rid of, like, the prevention of the factions to do, like, raids and stuff together. Like, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. That would also solve a big problem, like, at the end game for, like, Mythic raiding, because the Horde, due to unbalanced ratios, and now that they're kind of more in line, it still doesn't matter, because the Horde Mythic raiding scene has already been set up, so why, now that it's balanced a little bit, would they all shift over to the Alliance? But if the Alliance and the Horde could just raid together and do things together, but you could still do like PvP against each other. Like, but it wouldn't really be like a story thing, or they could write it off as like, oh, we're just training, kind of like how the Argent Coliseum was supposed to be, like story-wise. Like, if they could still have PvP under that guise, and I don't even think they really need to explain that regard. Like, I think they could allow cross-faction stuff without even saying, like, raiding is... They don't have to make a story excuse for, like, PvP, is my opinion, is what I'm saying. So, I would be totally down for that. You know, and there's a lot of other things that haven't happened in the story that they've set up yet that supports this conclusion. You know, Kali and Menenthil, like, possibly leading... we don't know, but possibly leading a faction of good Forsaken. Like, that would be fine in a world where there's cross-faction peace. You know, the Volpera joining the Horde, the Mechanomes joining the Alliance, which obviously is what's going to happen. I mean, they can't forecast it in the game files any more than that, than what they're doing now. Like, those are obviously factions that are about to join the game, probably in the distant future, or the recent future. But, yeah, that was great. I'm a lot more, like, animated and excited about that than I was the other one, because I want to get the story past the faction war, because I think that's a big problem of why I'm not enjoying the game right now. Let's get beyond the faction war. Let's get it over with already. Come on. Like, I want to see the next thing. That's not the faction war again. Ajara in the Zoth is cool, but I'm still not convinced she's not dying at the end of the raid, or the raid cinematic. So, I mean, I still believe there is a cinematic at the end of the raid, so we're going to have 3 cinematics for this one patch, which is pretty impressive. So, great job, Taryn Gregory, as usual, if you're watching this far. The cinematics are always amazing. And that's basically my thoughts about this surprise cinematic that no one knew that we had at the end of this event. So, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. But until then, stay awesome, and yeah, Friday, Shadowbringers. I'm super excited. I hope some other people besides myself and my friends are also playing it, because it's gonna be good. But until then, thanks guys. I'll see you. Farewell.